Hello, everyone. This is Omar from the Third Rail. I hope you had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. Everybody's doing okay. I hope you're doing fine. To everybody around the world, from Mexico to India to Brazil to Indonesia to all the world that watches this channel, but are afraid to comment or like, it's okay. I understand. Today we have a great show. I hope you're going to be patient because I want to educate you of what's going on in the United States. Um, Usually, the United States, when I grew up here in the United States, I grew up under the pretext of human rights, freedom of speech. The United States was the power or the human right savior that fought for human rights around the world, that called out genocides, that called out mass murders, that called out genocidal governments, that did everything. They even overthrew governments in the name of human rights and democracy. Then what happened, what's going on right now with the United States and their relationship with Israel, it's not realistic. You have to ask yourself, what's going on over here? I mean, when I was in school in social studies class with Mr. Siegel, we were talking about crime and a witness to crime. He gave an example. He said, if a woman is attacked in a subway car and you're there and you refuse to do anything, you are deemed an accomplice to the crime. Not doing the crime, but you are doing it. But what the United States is doing, it's like there's a woman being attacked in a subway car and we're giving a baseball bat and knife to the attacker to make sure he kills that victim. So what does that make us? The United States is complicit in the war crimes that's going on in Gaza. History will not be kind to us as we stood by and we supported our Congress, our Senate. We have a president who refuses to tell them, you got to stop. When they refused to bring in food about 7 months ago, which they're doing right now, we had to build a stupid port that cost the United States $300 million as a political maneuver by Joe Biden to show, oh, look, I'm doing something. And it was sabotaged by the Israeli military. Yes, it was sabotage. And they said the wind or the ocean took it. I mean, the United States Army built this floating small bridge to Gaza, and the ocean just came and took it. It doesn't make any sense. So I tried to put my head around it. This week we had a trifecta. The trifecta is the ICC, the court, the International Criminal Court. What is that? The international handed out warrants for the Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, for war crimes, and his defense minister for deliberately starving the population in Gaza to death. This is what it has. This is what we're supporting as a country. It doesn't make any more sense. Why? And what's so embarrassing is our leaders will go on TV. We have an ironclad relationship with Israel. We will defend Israel. What are you defending? You are defending the murder of children, women and children, the destruction of a city. You are supporting the subjugation of 5 million Palestinians. This is what it is. The war in Gaza, and soon it's going to be in the West. What it means is Israel has an apartheid problem. The apartheid, I can't pronounce it, like South Africa. So when Gaza happened, they always have a saying that don't let a good crisis go to waste. So the Israeli right-wing government, when Hamas attacked them, good morning, how are you, my brother? So, good evening. He's probably overseas. So the opportunity that came out of it for the Israeli, they say, okay, we have a problem here. This is a God-given gift by Hamas. They have attacked us. We did most of the killing to our own citizens, but who cares? The world is not going to believe what Hamas is saying. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna deliberately ethnically cleanse Gaza. That's 2.5 million people. We get rid of them to Egypt, wherever they're gonna go, or to Europe, or to Cyprus, wherever they're gonna go, and we're gonna solve our apartheid issue. Because the state of Israel is a racist state. It's an ethno state that has 5.5 million people subjugated, occupied under international with no rights to vote, no civil rights. They are they are treated with the military laws, not the civil laws. Their houses are being taken, their farms. A matter of fact, this week the settlers went down to a town in the West Bank. This is not Gaza, and burned about 20 cars. When the Palestinians came out to put out the fire that their cars are being burned, they shot at them. This is what we're defending. Now we're gonna go to the hard part. Now, before I start, showing some clips from the United Nations, the trifecta is. Let me go back to that. Sometimes, I'm not very organized. The trifecta is: we condemn the international court for handing out a warrant to war criminals that the whole world say they are by 124 countries. And at the United Nations, we vetoed a resolution for an immediate ceasefire and the release of the hostages. And here we are pretending that they want to free the hostages. All along, they had this opportunity in July. Hamas, or the Palestinian resistance, accepted Joe Biden's plan in June or July. It was and Hamas called out their bluff because they're not interested in freeing their own hostages. They are dead to them. They have killed 50,000 Palestinians. Do you think they care about 40, 50 Israelis to survive? So we're going to start to look at some videos, and we're going to react. I want you to be patient. There's a video that's a little long. It's from the United Nations when they voted, and you're going to see how the envoy, the ambassador of Palestine, how he reacted to the United States veto. Oh, the other trifecta is in the U.S. Senate, Bernie Sanders, Jewish American who had a kibbutz, who had lived in Israel, introduced a bill to put a stop or an embargo to the weapons going from the United States to Israel, because Israel is breaking American law. It's called the Lee Law, where the United States cannot give weapon to another country that is used to violate human rights or commit mass killing or genocide. Guess what? The Senate are too scared to vote. The United States is, people, oh, you're anti-Semite. No, it's not. Jews control the United States political system. Let's be honest. That's not. Why are we going to sugarcoat it every time? Every time we say the word Jews, we have to turn around like we're saying something wrong. But Jews do have very, very strong clout in how our government is run. How our foreign policy toward the Palestinian people. A lot of people say, Omar, we have to figure out how to address the issue without being labeled anti-Semite, because that's the go-to. If you say something that is critical of Israel or the Jewish lobby here, AIPAC, or the Jewish organization called the ADL, you are automatically stamped as an anti-Semite who is saying hateful things to the Jews. Then they come out, they take your channel, and they silence you. But I want to speak, but I want to break it down before I start. Israel is a Jewish state. So when I say the Jewish state, I mean Israel. A matter of fact, they have a law that Israel is the state of the Jews. It is not the state of the Israelis. So let's not pretend this bullshit game. Let's not play these 3-card mantos every time we do this, if we say something. The military is a Jewish military that belongs to the Jewish state called Israel, okay? The lobby in the United States, like AIPAC is not registered as a foreign entity. It is registered as a domestic organization or entity that interferes with our politics and has the power to elect and remove American politicians and give almost $100 million. Now, AIPAC is a Jewish organization. We can't say it's an Israeli organization. You understand? We can't say that. So this is the issue. So we're going to start watching a video. Let's start. There was a resolution by 10 countries in the United States Security Council. That resolution is very simple: an unconditional ceasefire and the release of the Israeli of the Jewish hostages. Forget about this Israeli stuff. I'm not going to say the word Israeli no more, because this is pretentious and it confuses the people who don't know what's going on. It's done. It is purposely designed to confuse. So these 10 countries wrote a resolution in the U.S. Security Council. As you know, there are 5 states in the UN Security Council that have vetoes. They could start if one state says no, there's no. The United States has vetoed every resolution going back maybe a million years that has to do with Israel or is critical of Israel, and has passed some resolution that is, and when they finish passing it, they will call it non-binding. So that means, why did you take the vote for? Why are you pretending to be, this is the problem we have. So we're going to look at, okay, let's start with this video. Okay, this is at the United Nations. Okay. Where are you?
Owing to the negative vote of a permanent member of the Council.
The United States.
Hold on. Okay. She's in love with me. I'm in love with her. I got to fix myself, man. I got to be there. You know what I'm saying? I got to look good, brother. Let me see if this is going to go down now. Oh, man. Okay, hold on. All right. Let me go back down. I want you to see the whole thing. Let me get out of the way. You don't need to see me, okay? Okay, this is at the United Nations after the United States vetoed the resolution, okay? I'm going to show you right now. And I want you to see how the Palestinian envoy reacted to the United States unjustified veto and pro-genocide vote. You understand? And the worst thing, they always have a black person in the United Nations to do that. Was it Colin Powell, the other lady, the black lady from Africa who has a Jewish last name, Greenfield, and this guy. They always put these guys as the face of colonial power or colonial policies. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, let's start to see this. This is after they voted, okay? Let me get rid of this guy. Say good morning. Everybody's laughing at us. Okay, it's not morning. Okay, ready? Let's watch this. Ready? Let's go.
Deeply regrets.
Hold on. You don't regret anything, man. Shut the hell up. Yeah, we deeply regret. I hate when they have these statements that are ready. What are you regretting? What are you regretting? Now, you see, this is when I start to have a problem with my show, because I don't have a producer. I was looking for a producer, somebody from Africa, from Nigeria. I said, I don't know, man. Nigeria doesn't have a good record doing business with you.
The result of the voting is as follows: 14 votes in favor, 1 vote against, 0 abstentions.
So everybody voted yes to an unconditional ceasefire to stop the killing in Gaza and release the Jewish hostages that are being held for almost 400 days. Very simple. You think the United States will jump at the opportunity because they have been driving us crazy. The hostages, as the Palestinian who died, 30, 40 people don't count. You understand?
The draft resolution has not been adopted owing to the negative vote of a permanent...
Oh, come on. You see, I do this all the time. Hold on. Why do I do this all the time? I'm such an idiot. Give me 1 second, okay? Oh, man. Okay, don't worry about it. We're going to get there. We're going to do it. I want you to listen to this. If you have time, you stay. If you don't have time, you could go. Because I want you to listen to the whole thing.
The result of the voting is as follows: 14 votes in favour, 1 vote against, 0 abstentions. The draft resolution has not been adopted owing to the negative vote of a permanent member of the Council.
The United States deeply regrets.
You don't regret anything. What happened? I think I got the wrong video. Hold on. I'm going to get that video. I don't care. I'm not going to be lazy. I'm going to go and get that video because I got the shorter version of this video. La, la, la. Give me 1 second, my brothers and sisters. This is, I always mess up, I don't know. I'm not a smart guy when it comes to these videos. I got to go to Dropbox. Is it called Dropbox? Yeah. Got to go to these goddamn places. What is it? I hate this, man. I really do. See, wrong thing. Okay. Let me see. Is this it? All right. There you go. Right here. You ready? Let's go.
Those against?
Sorry about that. Okay.
The result of the voting is as follows. 14 votes in favour, 1 vote against, 0 abstentions. The draft resolution has not been adopted owing to the negative vote of a permanent member of the Council.
The
The
United
States deeply regrets this Council finds itself here again. The United States worked for weeks in good faith to avoid this outcome. We made clear throughout negotiations we could not support an unconditional ceasefire that failed to release the hostages.
What does it mean? That release of the hostages should be unconditional? This is what the Council has said repeatedly now for a year. Release of hostages should be unconditional.
See?
But stopping killing Palestinians is conditional? There are acceptable conditions to stop the mass killing of Palestinians? There's 100 Israeli hostages, and there's 2 million Palestinians in Gaza.
Wow.
2 million Palestinians in Gaza. They deserve better. They deserve respect for their lives, for their suffering. Israel will always claim conditions have not been met because its plans require it to continue this war, to annex the land and destroy the people. And therefore, we can no longer accept its conditions.
Yep.
14 months, and we are still debating if a genocide must be stopped. There's no justification whatsoever for vetoing a resolution trying to stop atrocities. No justification for that. Madam President, one day someone will dig up these meetings, the records of them, will see us pleading for the lives of our people over and over and over and over again. And they will try to understand why our calls were not heeded. They will look at the people who sat around this table and spoke and addressed you from all over the world to call on the Council to take action. They will read what everybody here has said.
That's right.
And then they will wonder how a genocide displayed on TVs known to the whole world was able to continue.
I now give the floor to the representative of the Observer State of Palestine.
What happened? What?
Thank you, Madam President.
Again?
There is no right to mass killing of civilians.
Okay.
There is no right to starve an entire civilian population. There is no right to forcibly displace a people.
Right.
And there is no right to annexation. This is what Israel is doing in Gaza. These are its war objectives. This is what the absence of a ceasefire is allowing it to continue doing. This full-fledged Israeli assault against the Palestinian people and the Palestinian land is about everything except the hostages.
Yep.
If the families of hostages can see that, how can anyone in this room claim otherwise?
What he's saying, the family of the Jewish hostages are telling, we know that you don't want to make a deal because the resolution says the unconditional release of Jewish hostages and the unconditional ceasefire, and the United States have that Kanto. His name is almost like that guy in Roots. This fucking excuse me. This whitewashing genocidal face here, saying, "Well, we told you we want the hostages released." Everybody and their mother knows this is all a lie. It is all about borrowed time. 400 days of murder and mayhem. How far? When will we say, as an American, when we say, well, I mean, that's enough. I think that's enough. Good. Yeah, brother. God bless your tongue.
A ceasefire will allow to save lives.
Yep.
All lives.
Yeah.
This was true a year ago. This is even more true today. A ceasefire doesn't resolve everything, but it is the first step towards resolving anything.
Yep.
And what is the answer of those who are still unwilling now, after all this death and destruction, not to call for an unconditional ceasefire? Is it to accept that the killing should continue until we resolve everything while we watch that we are resolving nothing? We heard over and over again statements in this chamber by all members without distinction about protection of civilians, about rejecting forcible displacement, about rejecting starving the Palestinian population, about rejecting annexation, about rejecting wanton destruction, about rejecting regional escalation. Everyone around this table agreed on these objectives, and yet here we are. 44,000 Palestinians killed. This is those who are accounted for. Many more are not accounted for. One day we will retrieve them in mass graves under the rubbles, and we will discover the real numbers of this horror. And there will be many that we will never retrieve.
Yep.
Famine that is looming all over Gaza, that is a reality in northern Gaza. 2 million people displaced, still hunted even when they are in tents.
Yep.
Total destruction of Gaza and all the requirements of life in it.
Yep.
And war on Lebanon, its people and its sovereignty. What does it mean to proclaim all these principles, we reject, we reject, we reject, and then shield Israel of the consequences of its actions, thus allowing it to do exactly what we're asking it to stop doing? Madam President, the world should not grow accustomed to the death of Palestinians,
That's right.
to seeing Palestinian children starving, to seeing mothers carrying their children from one place to another, forcibly displaced. They should not get accustomed to seeing journalists killed and humanitarians killed, to see Palestinians detained, abducted, carried on trucks to go be tortured, sexually abused, and raped.
And raped, yeah.
The fact we are Palestinians does not make that less shocking or less outrageous.
Yep.
Maybe for some we have the wrong nationality, the wrong faith, the wrong skin color.
That's right.
But we are humans,
Thank you.
and we should be treated as such. Is
Right.
there a UN charter for Israel that is different from the charter you all have? Tell us.
Tell us.
Is there an international law for them, an international law for us?
Yep.
Do they have the right to kill, and the only right we have is to die?
That's right. Passionate, man. That's
What
you
the
to
hell
listen to.
does Israel need to do more
Yep.
for this council to act under Chapter 7?
Same question I
What
had.
more can they do for this council to act under Chapter 7? Or will this council be the last place on earth that cannot recognize a threat to peace when they see it? When it is so glaring, so undeniable? You are witnessing the attempt to annihilate a nation, destroy a nation. It is not even hidden. It is in plain sight.
Wow.
And yet the very tools designed to respond to these situations are not being used.
That's right.
So which one is it? Are Palestinian lives not worth saving? Or does Israel have a license to kill?
That's right.
Can this council only adopt resolutions and then witness their blatant breach? This self-inflicted powerlessness has to stop.
Yep.
And like Algeria, we repeat, the resolutions of this council are binding. Their role is to be enforced.
Right.
Their role is to change reality, not to record violations for history's purposes and then allow them to continue. had diplomatic efforts succeeded, we would not be here. We recognize all the efforts that were done, all the diplomatic efforts that were conducted. And yet, we have to recognize children are still starving in Gaza. Families are being killed. Communities are being obliterated. Had these efforts succeeded, we would not be here. But what we cannot accept is that Israel has a veto that blocks any attempts to put an end to this war.
That's the United States veto.
Especially when we know what are its true intentions. Madam President, many peoples, many governments around the world are saying the right things and trying to do the right things. And we have here to express.
Joe Biden will go down in history as the genocidal that he is, the criminal that he is, and he will end his career, and he's 82 years old. He's about to meet his maker as a person who sat silent and complicit the murder of almost 18 to 20,000 children. The average age is 5 years old, ladies and gentlemen. I don't, when Joe Biden claims to be a religious person, a Catholic who go to mass, no, he doesn't. He's a member of the devil's family. He's evil, and everything that's done is because he did it. Because Israel has no power over the United States. 24 hours, we're sending weapons. If we just say we're going to stop for one day, they will stop the war. It happened before. Go ahead, my brother.
Our gratitude to the E10 for their relentless efforts
Look at that piece of shit.
over a year now, and in the recent month. We all were hoping that 2735 would lead to a ceasefire.
Nope.
And we can discuss who is responsible for that ceasefire not occurring.
The United States.
For us, it is pretty clear that Israel had never an intention to accept a ceasefire and has found every
They own
reason
us. Israel
not
own us, man.
to have a ceasefire.
Jewish brothers,
We
they
thank
got
Guyana
power.
for its efforts in coordinating the E10 initiative. We thank all of those who have voted in favor of this resolution, and we agree with Malta and with Algeria. This is the bare minimum. This is the bare minimum that morality, humanity, legality would plead for. And this bare minimum, even this bare minimum, was vetoed. I truly do not understand, and you're saying we cannot be for an unconditional ceasefire. What that means in effect now is that we are for a war. You're saying we cannot be for an unconditional ceasefire that does not release the hostages. Is this war releasing the hostages? Is it even trying to release the hostages?
Nope.
So what does it mean? We accept this war that is killing hostages and that is killing, maiming, terrorizing, destroying an entire nation. When is it enough? When is it the point where we say, no, we mean ceasefire now? Now. We will not allow you to not listen to us, to ignore us, to insult us, to play games with us.
Yep.
This resolution is trying to restore life, to save lives. It's not a dangerous message. The draft resolution is not a dangerous message. This veto is a dangerous message to Israel that it can continue executing its plans, the very plans you oppose. And the messages we send do matter. And that is the wrong message at the worst possible time. Israel is responsible for the Palestinian civilians it kills. It cannot be absolved of that responsibility.
That's right.
It is killing them purposefully, deliberately, repeatedly, massively.
Every day.
It is starving them on purpose. Nobody can deny it. We sat in this room, we heard every UN agency, every testimony, every NGO, Palestinian, Israeli, international, saying the same things. This is by design.
It's freezing. Look at that piece of shit. Yeah. He looks like a German officer.
What does it mean? That the release of
That's
the
the Israeli
hostages
ambassador,
should be
right?
unconditional. This is what the Council has said repeatedly now for a year. Release of hostages should be unconditional. But stopping killing Palestinians is conditional.
Yeah.
There are acceptable conditions to stop the mass killing of Palestinians. There's 100 Israeli hostages. And there's 2 million Palestinians in Gaza.
That's right.
2 million Palestinians in Gaza. They deserve better. They deserve respect for their lives, for their suffering. Israel will always claim conditions have not been met because its plans require it to continue this war, to annex the land and destroy the people. And therefore, we can no longer accept its conditions. 14 months, and we are still debating if a genocide must be stopped. There's no justification whatsoever for vetoing a resolution trying to stop.
So you understand what the problem was. The resolution said the unconditional ceasefire and unconditional release of Jewish hostages. Now, the issue with them is they don't want an unconditional ceasefire. They want to continue to kill. They want to continue to maim and occupy and ethnically cleanse. You understand, the Palestinians have no value as human beings. Every day, 40, 50, 70 are being killed. Civilians every day. Not even one news station in the United States reported. I dare them. I dare the CNNs, the honchos. They're all beholden and scared of the Jewish lobbyists and Jewish CEOs and executives of TV. It will hurt their career.
Atrocities. No justification for that. Madam President, one day someone will dig up these meetings, the records of them.
That's right.
Will see us pleading for the lives of our people over and over and over.
Okay, so I think you get the gist of it. So it was like a 27-minute speech, but I wanted you to listen to it and get the feeling and the passion and the despair in the voice of the Palestinian. And he is stunned that after more than 10 to 15 UN agencies, human rights agencies came, they said that Israel is deliberately starving Palestinians in northern Gaza. The problem is Israel is all about land. Every opportunity is an opportunity. So they want to take half of Gaza and give it to Israel to settle. And you have to understand, Gaza is 25 miles by 5. It's about 350 square miles. It's a nothing. And they still want some of that land. I don't know what the end is going to be, but history would not be kind to the United States or to Israel. Israel is already a criminal state. It's an illegal state, so we don't need to be hold on, let me see something. Yeah. Hey, I'm him. Americans don't care about anyone but themselves. No, my brother, I'm him TV. The problem is our political system is beholden to a group in the United States, and we could sugarcoat it, but the Jewish lobbyists and Jewish money billionaire class control the media, and they control. You could always tell. Remember when the Democratic lost the election, what they did? The first thing they did was say, well, it's because suburban housewives were horrified to see Jewish kids being bullied in front of universities. They don't even care about their own. Yeah, they don't. They don't care about nobody. Me, as an American citizen, I know I have no value at all. If I went to travel and Israel decided to unalive me, the United States will not do anything to Israel. Anyway, so the United States vetoes a bill that is saying for the unconditional release of Jewish hostages in Gaza, but they want the hostages released, but they don't want to stop shooting at the Palestinian, the Christian sheep. That's right. I love you, man. You know, I am him. You're absolutely right. It's the Christian Zionists. The Christian Zionists are the Christian Zionists are so idiotically stupid is they refuse to help Arab Christians who have live in poverty and being chased from Jerusalem, and they are being emptied from Lebanon, from all over the world, they would not spend $1 on Christian from the Middle East, but they'll spend $100 million a year on Israeli propaganda. So, okay, that was the trifecta, right? Then the ICC, the International Criminal Court, issues a warrant for the Prime Minister Netanyahu, or war criminal Netanyahu, and his former defense minister, I think his name is A.V. Gallant, whatever his name is, and one of the Palestinian leaders of Hamas, who maybe he's still alive, or he's not even alive no more since the time. And guess who goes to bat for Israel? Every single senator, every single congressman in the United States, they're all going on, oh, they can't do that. They have no jurisdictions. As if genocide needs a jurisdiction, you know? As if genocide needs a jurisdiction. Let's look at, first of all, Lindsey Graham is a small, just to give you an idea where we're at as a country. Lindsey Graham is a homosexual senator from South Carolina. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a homosexual. The problem is he is closeted, and he is probably being blackmailed, because if you see his behavior and his statements for the last couple of years, it's embarrassing what he's doing. He has fallen from grace, whatever you want to call it, grace, when he was buddy with John McCain, when McCain was alive, and he used to hang around with John McCain to get some respect. This is him here making no sense, like usually. He goes to Fox News and he says this.
Any ally, Canada, Britain, Germany, France, if you try to help the ICC, we're going to sanction you.
Well, that means I want every ally. And you saw little Justin in Canada and his position.
Little Justin.
What should the penalty be?
We should crush your economy because we're next. Why
are we always next? Next for what? Why do they always try to link the United States national security to that of Israel? Why? You know why? Because they need to legitimize our behavior in front of the average American. That's why they do it. Well, we're going to be next, guys. Israel is fighting for all of us. You understand? Powered by, why is StreamYard I didn't pay the bill for StreamYard or what? Anyway. So here we go. This is the war criminal. You know he is, right?
Terrorists do everything in their power to keep them in harm.
Okay. He is indicted inside Israel for corruption, and he's still being investigated for more corruption. And he's the architect of the mass murder and genocide that's going on in, they call it? Wait.
God.
Okay. I'm going to put him on. So he has gotten into this habit of going to his office and starts yelling at the camera. Now you gotta hear him. He's not denying that he's starving people and that he is guilty of the crime, but he's making comparison, historical you have to understand that the Jewish mentality is not being anti-Semitic is I am the victim, I'm always the victim, we're always a victim. He could be beating the daylight out of you and he'll scream, help, get the police, help, and you're being brain dead by him. This is the whole idea what they do. That's crazy. He's saying we might get brought up on charges. Oh, that's how we treat. Well, they have a law. If you know, we have a law, believe it or not. It's called I don't know, the invasion, the hate invasion law. If the International Court ever dares to indict an American for war crimes, we will invade the Netherlands. It's stupid, man. That's crazy. He's saying we might get brought up on charges for how we treat the immigrants blocks, if we give in, if we get into this mess. I don't know about the immigration. The problem is we are complicit in the genocide that's going on in over there. Because every bomb that's bombing and killing, we are providing the bomb. You understand? So that we could be, but immigration, it's an internal matter. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm against this crazy mass immigration into the United States or uncontrolled border. I'm for legal immigration. As an immigrant, I'm for legal immigration. Okay.
Against polio. This doesn't prevent the court of accusing us of genocide.
Yes.
What in God's name are they talking about in The Hague?
He doesn't know.
The truth is simple.
Yeah.
No war is more just than the war that Israel has been waging in Gaza after Hamas attacked us unprovoked, launching the worst massacre against the Jewish people since the Holocaust.
Actually, under a lot of Jewish newspapers have investigated, the majority of the people who were killed, who were burned to death, were burned by hellfire, Apache hellfire. And he doesn't know what he's doing in Gaza. He doesn't see that as a war crime. He is complaining about 350, when I say 350, I'm saying civilians, because the 700 were military, they were fair targets. When it's civilian, we could talk about civilians. We should condemn the murder or killing of any civilians, no matter what. But it shows you the mentality. He doesn't know that he just killed 20,000 children. Oh, according to to European publication, that there are more than 186 dead, directly and indirectly, under the rubbles that we don't know yet. But he doesn't know. Look how far he's going to go back in history to make his point. He's going to shift the conversation without denying that he is committing a genocide.
The decision to issue an arrest warrant against me, the democratically elected prime minister of the state of Israel,
you're a war criminal,
and our former defense minister, was made by a rogue prosecutor who's trying to extricate himself from sexual harassment charges.
There we go.
And by biased judges who are motivated by anti-Semitic sentiments.
There are 10,000 pedophiles living in Israel. Look it up. Write down the Jerusalem Post, 10,000 pedophiles living in Israel. Good.
Against the one and only Jewish state. These judges did nothing.
Yeah.
They did nothing against the real war crimes committed against the millions who've been murdered or uprooted by the dictatorships in Iran, Syria, and Yemen.
So they go, whataboutism? What, when other people kill, why you always pick on us when we do the killing? That's like me saying, like if I was Ted Bundy, well, you didn't catch the other people who killing all these women. Why? But you want to execute me in Florida because I killed these students in a university, and you're not catching all the serial killers. You understand? This is the criminal mind and the mental sickness and disease of the people who came from Europe. His name is not even Netanyahu. Israel is not a real state. Let me go down. Let me tell you about Israel, or the Jewish state. Okay, the Jewish state. He's a dictator too. Yes, he is. The star of David never had a star. Israel doesn't have a constitution because it doesn't want to have a constitution so it could be able to deny the Arabs any rights in that state. Their name is not their real name. His name is Malinsky, whatever his name is. It's not anything, you know. Everything is a lie. Every single thing is a lie. Even the national anthem, the music is stolen from a Romanian song. Everything is borrowed. So you came from Europe, running away from the pogroms, from the Holocaust, whatever, from all the, we know the history in Europe was not, it was an on and off relationship with the Jews, with friends, then they attacked them, then we're friends, and they attacked them. Then you come and land on the people that are there, and you tell this lie, we were people without a land, with a land without people. a matter of fact, there was cities in Palestine to murder them and kill them. And if they fight back, they are terrorists. Right.
Instead, they falsely accuse the one democracy in the Middle East, Israel, thereby imperiling the right of all democracies to defend themselves against.
Israel is a democracy for Jews only. A matter of fact, they just passed a nation law that Israel is a state for the Jews. Imagine in the United States if Congress passes a law that the United States is a nation for the Christians only. Imagine, I won't care, but I mean, the Jews will go nuts. Everybody will go nuts. What are you talking about? Christians only? This is the same thing that's happening in Israel. Israel is an ethno-state. Its religion is an ethno-religion. It's a racist state. It's an apartheid state. It's a criminal state that relies on assassinations, mass murder, destructions. Look at the war in Lebanon. You haven't seen the rockets hit one building that is a civilian inside Israel while these people are bombing neighborhoods. This is what they do. Go ahead.
Murderers, terrorists, and tyrants.
Okay.
Nor did the court do anything against the Hamas terrorists who raped our women, beheaded our men, burned babies alive in front of their parents, and kidnapped hundreds of men, women, and children to the underground dungeons of Gaza.
Yeah.
They're still holding 101 hostages, citizens of many lands, including the United States.
And by the way, Israel has killed about 50 of them with their indiscriminate bombing. Israel is killing its own civilians, its own hostages. You understand? He doesn't want them released. They just want Gaza. They want to get rid of the Palestinians so they could get rid of their problem. It is called the demographic problem. Israel's kryptonite that Superman had is demographics. After 76 years, the Zionist project failed to provide the two most important things for Israel or for the Jews. Safe state. It's not safe. Rockets are hitting any and a demographic majority. Imagine all the ethnic cleansing, with all the killing, with all these laws that are meant to isolate and violate Palestinians, make them just leave and throw everything and leave. There are 7.3 million Jews and there are 7.3 Palestinians. It's a 50-50 situation. They killed a couple of 200,000 from the Palestinians, but about 1 million Jews have left and ran to Europe. That's why they had, I'm going to tell you before, let this idiot finish.
United States. Come to think of it, the court did issue one arrest warrant against Hamas.
Yeah.
Now hear this. They issued an arrest warrant against the corpse of the Hamas arch-terrorist Muhammad Dev.
Yeah.
His corpse. What an absurdity. No biased anti-Israel decision in The Hague will prevent the state of Israel from defending its citizens. And I want to thank our many friends around the world, especially those in the United States, who've condemned this outrage and who have said that this decision will have severe consequences for the ICC and those who cooperate with its decision. Israel will not recognize the validity of this decision. We will continue to do everything we must do to defend our citizens and defend our state against Iran's axis of terror, Iran and its terrorist proxies, which include Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and others. Our enemies are your enemies, and our victory will be your victory, the victory of civilization over barbarism and tyranny.
That's you. You are describing actually what you are. You and your people are barbars and criminals and war crimes. Your victory is not our victory. Your victory is the victory of the devil. Then you are part of the Nazi project in Israel. Good. He's finished.
The anti-Semitic decision of the International Court in The Hague
Everything is anti-Semitic.
is a modern Dreyfus trial.
Here we go.
And it will end the same way. 130 years ago, the French Jewish officer Alfred Dreyfus was falsely accused of treason by a biased French court.
And
in response to these false accusations, the great French writer Émile Zola wrote his monumental essay,
Okay.
J'accuse.
Ooh.
He accused the French court of anti-Semitic lies against an innocent officer who was later exonerated of all guilt.
Okay.
Now an international court in The Hague, also headed by a French judge.
You see, he wanted to make the correlation that the head of the court is the French citizen. So he had to go back 132 years about the Dreyfus, about some officer who's accused of treason in France. But we see the massacre that you're doing. We see it with our own eyes every day. The problem is America's TV and media refuses to recognize what's going on or show the American people or the majority of the American people. You can no longer blind people. You have social media. The message is getting through the American people. They see you for what you are, nothing but a liar, a criminal, a murderous butcher of children.
Is repeating this outrageous offense. It is falsely accusing me,
Yes,
the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and Israel's former Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, of deliberately targeting civilians. This when we do everything in our power to avoid civilian casualties. We issue millions of text messages, phone calls, leaflets to the citizens of Gaza to get them out of harm's way.
Right.
While the Hamas terrorists do everything in their power to keep them in harm's way, including shooting them, using them as human shields.
There is no evidence. There is anybody who's listened to my my stream, go to Google and write Israeli soldiers use Palestinians as human shield. The Jewish government or the Jewish supremacist government of Israel, for every accusation, it's a confession of what they do. Everything they have accused, the Palestinian resistance, the dedicated babies, whatever the word is, it was Palestinians. They raped a doctor and put a phone inside wrecked him and killed him. And then when they tried to arrest the soldiers, the whole Israeli came and beat up the base and treated them like heroes. We have the right to rape Palestinians.
The court in The Hague accuses us of a deliberate policy of starvation.
Yes.
This one we've supplied Gaza with 700,000 tons of food to feed the people of Gaza. That's 3,200 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. And these supplies are routinely looted by Hamas terrorists who deprive their people of much needed food.
Yep.
Yet just in the last few weeks, Israel facilitated the vaccination of 97% of the people of Gaza against polio. This doesn't prevent the court of accusing us of genocide. What in God's name are they talking about in The Hague?
He doesn't know. He's confused.
The truth is simple.
Yes.
No war is more just than the war that Israel has been waging in Gaza.
That's right.
After Hamas attacked us.
Hamas.
Launching the war.
Why did you do Hamas? Why did you say Hamas, man? You speak fluent English. You were born in Philadelphia. You was raised in Philadelphia. What all this bullshit?
Worst massacre against the Jewish people since the Holocaust.
Yeah, right.
The decision to issue an arrest warrant against me, the democratically elected prime minister.
All right, I don't hear your fucking shit all day. Elected. You have no democracy. All right. You've been prime minister for almost 25 years. What's the difference between you and a dictator? So we saw the response. Let me get rid of this garbage from here. Anyway, I gotta watch football, man. Is the game gonna start soon? What time is it? Oh, let me see. What time is it? I can't see that good. Oh, okay, we got time. All right. You know, I'm a football freak. All right, the Ravens, I think, are playing. All right, so the trifecta continues, right? So we already saw the vote in the United Nations where they vetoed. Then the response to let me bring this ugly looking. The reason I voted for Trump is, I'm gonna be honest with you, because I hated looking at this face.
Whatever this prosecutor might imply, there's no evidence, none, between Israel and Hamas. There's just none. In coordination with partners, let me just say, because this is the first time I've had an opportunity to speak to this podium, so let me just say more broadly that we fundamentally reject the court's decision to issue arrest warrants for senior Israel officials.
Yeah,
We remain deeply concerned by the prosecutor's rush to seek arrest warrants and the troubling process errors that led to this decision. The United States has been clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter. You've heard us say this before. Whatever this prosecutor might imply, there is no evidence, none, between Israel and Hamas. There's just none.
Yeah. There's no evidence. There's no 50,000 people dead. Yeah, maybe the World Court doesn't have any jurisdictions over United States citizens because we, the United States, the leader of freedom and human rights, refused to sign to be a member of the International Criminal Court. But Israel is one of the founding members, and the Palestinians are, so they do have jurisdiction. This is, I don't know why they picked her, man. Woo!
In coordination with partners, including Israel, we are discussing certainly those next steps, what that's going to look like. And to your question about sanctions, that's basically kind of just answered it in that last part of what I said. We're in consultation with our partners and also, which include Israel, about our next steps. We fundamentally reject that the ICC has jurisdiction over the situation. And so that's something that we've been pretty clear about, and we'll continue to do so.
Go fuck yourself. As if America has any say over Israel. Who you kidding? You kidding us? We don't have no say. America is a proxy state of Israel. I mean, we have no say in this matter. We have no say in this matter. Nothing. Zero. Israel could do whatever it wants, and it will find people to defend it on TV, from elected congressional elected people, and from the Senate. All right, let's see what's going on over here. Okay. The trifecta continues. So,
rights violations taking place around the world.
Okay. This is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is Jewish, so they can't say anti-Semite, right? You know what they call him? They call him Haman. I don't know who Haman is in the Bible. Okay. He introduced a bill to stop sending weapons to Israel because let me get in front of this, man. I want to see myself too. Okay. Is that it? Where is he? Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna be the bigger guy here. Let me see. I'm trying to find a good picture. All right. There we go. So we have laws called the Lee laws of Senator Lee. I think he was from, Ohio or Pennsylvania. Well, the law states that the United States cannot provide weapons to. Why am I getting rid of Mr. Sanders here? Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Let me fix it. All right. You know what? We're going to share it. We're going to share the screen, right? We're going to share the screen. So the law states that the United States cannot sell weapons, or the United States sells weapons to countries under a contract. They cannot use it in violation of international law or human rights law or illegality. You cannot use it in a legal way. It is only for defensive purposes. That's the whole deal. And the United States holds all countries to that rule. If not, they don't get the weapons. Now, Israel is in violation of that law, and everybody and their mother know it. Everybody and their mother, they know it. And the problem is that and Israel knows. You see, anyway, Israel is breaking this law. Okay, let's just say that. So Bernie Sanders, a Jewish American, he has lived in Israel. He cannot be described as an anti-Semite. He introduced the bill, like I say, that to stop the weapons if Israel continues to violate human rights and to continue to massacre and kill the Palestinians and starve them at will. Very simple. Everybody voted against it except 18 people. Okay, let's see. Let's watch this. Okay.
I've heard well-founded concerns about China's brutal reception of the Uyghur ethnic minority. Okay. I've heard rightful outrage about Putin's brutal attacks against Ukraine
Remember?
and bombing of civilian installations.
Yep.
I've heard genuine concern about Iran's outrageous crackdown on peaceful protesters. I've heard repeated condemnations of Saudi Arabia's terrible treatment of women and political dissidents. And on it goes. A lot of folks come to the floor to talk about human rights and what's going on throughout the world. But what I want to say to all those folks, nobody is going to take anything you say with a grain of seriousness. You cannot condemn human rights around the world and then turn a blind eye to what the United States government is now funding in Israel. People will laugh in your face. They will say to you, you're concerned about China, you're concerned about Russia, you're concerned about Iran. Well, why are you funding the starvation of children in Gaza right now?
So that's Senator Bernie Sanders. While this move did fail, it was the largest grouping of senators to vote against arming Israel. Akbar Shahed Ahmed, if you can talk about the significance of this and the latest piece you did on what happened in the White House. And
you heard Amy Goodman's voice. She's from Democracy Now! If you want to watch it, it's a good program. She is so excited that actually for the first time, 18 senators grew some balls and actually voted to put an embargo on Israeli weapons. It was not going to pass, but they were trying to see how many people were going to dare cross the picket line, you know, when you're on a strike and they say you're a scab. This is what has come down to. We are celebrating that 18 out of 100 senators said, well, I mean, we think there's a genocide and they're breaking the law. We should not give these people the weapons that they are using to kill women and children. And we are excited by that. We are living in crazy times. The United States will never recover from this. Israel will never recover from that. Israel, I have a feeling, will cease to exist after what they did. They're not going to exist. You don't belong in that neighborhood. You can't kill all your neighbors and pretend you want to stay in that neighborhood. It doesn't work like that. Good, Amy. Talk, Amy. Amy, where are you?
arming Israel.
I've heard members of the U.S. Senate come to this floor to denounce human rights violations taking place around the world.
Did we just see that?
I've heard well-founded
and how they were threatening these senators. Your exclusive White House says Democrats who oppose weapons to Israel are aiding Hamas.
Absolutely, Amy. And I'll just start by noting that what Ambassador Bamia and Senator Sanders said that really speaks to the salience of this issue, right, and why it's not going away, something that the Biden administration has failed to grapple with. In their thinking, they think, well, people will get over this like they've gotten over foreign policy slights and missteps by the U.S. before. I think this is a fundamentally different issue. And what the Biden administration tried to do to kind of not just tackle and continue support for Israel, but to reject scrutiny and kind of threaten senators was really striking yesterday. So the exclusive I got that you were talking about was a document from the White House that they prepared and sent to Capitol Hill on Tuesday, 24 hours before the vote, where essentially they said, if...
That's right, Ham TV. I'm going to subscribe to your channel, my brother. The United States is under the influence of Zionism and Jewish money. You know, let's stop putting these names. Why are we confusing ourselves? Israel, Zionists, and Jews. They are three but one. It's almost like the tribal God of the Christians. It is in the United States. It's Jewish money, like that guy Aikman. What's his name? Is Bill Aikman, who stopped Harvard, and the other people, Starbucks. They created a WhatsApp group about 100 Jewish billionaires to how to combat the student movements, and they actually threatened or convinced the mayor of New York to put a crackdown on the people in Columbia and violated their right to assemble.
If you vote against weapons for Israel, you as United States senators are supporting Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran.
That's it.
Now, that's the kind of accusation and rhetoric that observers say is reminiscent of the Bush administration, right? You're with us or you're against us. And that's the kind of thinking with which the Biden administration continues to approach critics of their policy, despite the really clear consequences of their policy and the fact that they're on their way out, right? They are not the future of the Democratic Party. It is now not just on Senator Sanders, but really on those who remain in the Senate, on Democrats kind of up and down the country, to craft a different legacy, given that there is popular dissatisfaction. And what I heard in terms of the White House document and talking points that they were pushing privately to senators was that this fueled just deep kind of resentment among senators who heard it. And folks were saying, look, the White House won't even put their name on these arguments while they're calling us kind of terrorist sympathizers, which is a...
I'm going to tell you something. Donald Trump is not that anti-war that we think he is. His whole cabinet is all Zionists. Every single person is a Zionist or a war hawk or a newcon. So, like you said, the Ukrainian war could have been prevented with Russia. Putin gave them a list of demands, of security demands. And the whole idea, Antonio Blinken, the Secretary of State, he wanted a war. They wanted to, they wanted a war so they could sell weapons. He refused to entertain the demands that were made by Russia to prevent the war from going through. And now we are sleepwalking through World War III. You saw Biden, who's a zombie, doesn't even know. They just approved that they could use American weapons to attack inside Russia. You know what? It's dangerous where we're going, my friend. It's dangerous. And it's shameful. You understand? So let me finish this, my brother. I think me and you see eye to eye on what's going on. The United States needs to
hugely
regain its independence, man.
Simultaneously, I mean, the context of this is that hard-line pro-Israel forces, chief among them AIPAC, which is the biggest pro-Israel lobby in the country, were also pushing against this vote. We're also telling senators, if you vote with Sanders, we're going to come after you. We see this as a betrayal of Israel, a close United States partner.
It's like the mafia.
So you saw the Biden administration working hand in glove with forces that are not just ardently pro-Israel, but have been against Democrats, often against Biden, against President Barack Obama. But that's where they've aligned themselves politically. The fact that after all of that, you still had close to a fifth of members of the U.S. Senate stand up and vote against weapons for Israel at a time of war, at a time when AIPAC and pro-Israel forces have indicated their political strength yet again, that's huge. This is historic and symbolic. And while I think anti-war advocates were to a degree disappointed, they had wanted to get at least half of Senate Democrats, the amount of intense pressure that you saw from the Biden administration to try to suppress this vote, including up to sending Secretary of State Tony Blinken to Capitol Hill yesterday, that shows you they were up against a lot, and they still managed to get 19 senators, which was quite a momentous showing.
Thank you. Okay, that was Democracy Now! With that report. With I'm gonna have one more nice story. It has nothing to do with politics. So let me just close on this and let you know. So the trifecta this week was, and the United States is complicit. We refused. We vetoed a ceasefire, an unconditional ceasefire that will release Jewish hostages and stop the war in Gaza. We are defending Israel's criminal from the International Criminal Court. And we voted against not sending weapons to Israel this weekend. So this weekend, history, we're going to look back at this. Now we have these short memory spans. Okay, what's that? Flat money. Is money printed here for the future kosher tax reserve. That's right. You know that they are, I mean, people, when we say this, people like saying, oh, Omar, you're being an anti-Semite. No. 2% of the populations are overrepresented in the United States government. I mean, the Secretary of State, the Director of Intelligence, then the Deputy Director of the CIA, look at the government. That's why they're scared of Trump. Trump wants to fire all the all the career people that have been working in the State Department, they've been entrenched for years and have been fathered in or clocked fathered in. Anyway, in conclusion, the United States failed the three trifecta. We are pro-genocide, anti-peace. We will give weapons to kill children, and we'll continue to do that. Anyway, I want to finish on a lighter side before I go. Now, I'm a football fan. I love football. I used to love baseball a long time ago, believe it or not. I used to be a New York Yankee fan. I'm from New York City. I went to every game, almost every game I could afford to go to. You know, I didn't have no money growing up. Then I just got bored with, you know, it was too long. The baseball was too long, you know, and I fell in love with football. The only thing I hate about football is that the injuries. You know, I don't want people, you know, to lose their heads. You know what I'm saying? But I do love football. But the problem is I don't have a team. I don't root for any. I don't have one team that I always go for the underdogs every time. I supported Mahomes when he started because when I saw this young man, he had this talent. He was a prodigy. I loved watching his game. He's good. And I left him. You understand? Who did I support else? The guy was Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles when he started and all that stuff. I always love those stories of those people who make it. Oh, a team that's the underdog. Now we have one team that I've been supporting for the last 2 years. Now from New York City now, the Detroit Lions. Last year they had a great season. A lot of mistakes were made by Coach Campbell because he kept on, you know, going on fourth downs, and it cost them maybe the game in the playoff at that time. Now I'm going to show you a video. Now the Lions, I have predicted from last year that the Lions will be the Super Bowl championship. They are unstoppable. And the reason I love the Lions, not because, remember, I have no loyalty to no team. I just love football. I want to watch a good game. I don't care who wins, as long as it's a good game. You understand? I'm going to watch the Ravens tonight. I don't know who they're playing. I don't know the Chargers. I don't know who they're playing. You know, I love Lamar Jackson. So I want you to see a speech that their coach gave. Their coach used to be a football player, you know, and I just love that energy.
As a hand, huh?
Okay.
So it goes without saying.
This is last week.
Football players, and they are made of the right kind of stuff.
This fucking guy is the kind of guy that you have to go for and fight for 100%. This is last week. They had 632 yards. This is not this week. But when I saw this, I knew why they were winning. Let's go.
Hey, that's a hell of a job, man. It's a hell of a job. I'm going to go back to what I said last night. Man, when you have talented football players, and they are made of the right kind of stuff. They are made of the right kind of stuff. And those guys come together. You have a collective willpower that you can make the game any way you want it to go. You can do that. That's exactly what you guys did. You came out after a rough game last week. We found a way to win. And we weren't having it today, man. You guys willed that game the way you wanted it. And we have that ability. Remember that. Remember that. That gets us to 9. I've got all kinds of notes, man. This thing turned into something. It's unbelievable. Here's the biggest thing, though. Offensively, man, we set a team record. We set a team record. 645 yards after kneel downs.
Yeah.
645 yards on offense, all right? And 38 first downs. Those are team records, gentlemen. Give those guys a hand, huh? So it goes without saying, everybody on offense is going to get a damn game ball, all right? Everybody. Yeah. Now, inside of that, I just want to make this point. Our quarterback was 24-29, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns, a perfect quarterback rating of 158.3, all right, with 4 rushes for 21 yards. Another highlight here. All right, this guy had 11 receptions on 11 targets, 161 yards, 2 tugs, Mr. St. Brown. Defense gave up 170 yards. 170 yards. All right, 645 to 170. That's how you play ball, man, back at our house. It's outstanding. All right, I'm going to highlight these players here. 3 total tackles, 1 interception, Mr. Kirby. Get this man a ball. Get this man a ball.
Hey man, I love this team, man. We put in the work for this, man. Hey, on to the next. I love y'all boys.
Man, he's kind of been about Cal for us, and he really had to take over today, all right, with what happened. This guy had 9 total tackles, 1 TFL, had a half sack, plays his ass off every week, violent player, smart player, relentless Jack Campbell.
I just want to say I appreciate every single person in this room. You've poured so much into me as a...
See that fucking energy in that locker room? I will go out and shoot people for him. If I was a football player, I was stabbed at the... forget about tackle for him. This is how it's done, man. That's the energy you need. Because football is a game of inches. It's a war.
Individual, and that's the only way I feel like each individual in this room works is everything you got, every single play, give it your all. This team's special, and I'm excited to keep going. So.
Yes. The sky is the limit, man. The sky's the limit. That's number 9. All right, we're about to hit the back stretch. We are close. We're about to hit the back stretch, and we're on to the Colts. All right, great win. Break it down.
Perfect. Come on.
Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Hey. Great team win. On to the next. 1 on 3, 1 2 3. Mr. Perfect.
Now, you have to love that energy. This is, I think his name, I don't know his first name, but I know his last name is Campbell. He's the coach of the Lions, the Detroit Lions. This is a team you want to watch and root for this year. I will leave them next year. If they win the Super Bowl this year, I will go look for another team that I will actually support. It just, I love these Cinderella stories. I mean, the underdogs, like what's his name? Deion Sanders. I think he has a team in Colorado, college football. I never heard the team. I root for him every Saturday when he plays because I want to see him win. He has his 2 sons playing, and it's like a family. You have to root for these people, man. I think football is America's sport. Forget about baseball. Baseball is boring as hell, man. What do I want to go see guys spit? They speed it up a little bit, but this is it. Yeah, Detroit, and I ain't getting back. No, they are destroying everybody they meet. I'm him TV. Yeah, I root for these people. I was rooting for Mahomes when he started. I think in 2016 or 2017. I love that kid. I knew he's a prodigy. Then after that, he won a couple of Super Bowls. I said, I gotta leave this kid. What I need him for? He's he's on his own. It's weird, man, that energy this team brings. They beat the Colts yesterday, I think 24-6. They are unstoppable. I'm gonna predict here on TV that they're gonna win the Super Bowl. They will maul the Chiefs. The Chiefs are not playing good this year. They just barely winning, like by luck. And the only team you have going out there, which one? No good team. There's not that good team. Even if you see their records, maybe Buffalo with Josh Allen or things like that. Anyway, guys, man, I love you all. Yo, man, my friend, brother, I'm going to go to your channel later. Please, if you have any suggestion, man, I'd love to have you here. I enjoyed being here. I'd love to have you if you have a channel and you ever want to come up here and we have, and we could have a conversation together, you're invited anytime. Just reach out to me, man, and I will do it. I would love to have a person to talk to if you want to come up here, my brother. And I really, really appreciate you, man. I love the back and forth. Most of my audience, man, I got this channel from my brother. He had a short channel, and he gave it to me, and I had to erase all the shorts and turn it to an American political, as you can see. Okay, yeah, they're motivated. But I don't think I know about that. I remember you called it. Yo, listen, I'm gonna make you. I'll tell you what. Him TV. If they don't win the Super Bowl, I will send you $50. You don't have to bet me anything to buy you dinner wherever you are, what state you ever are. I will give you a $50 through Cash App, whatever it is, and I will buy you dinner. Okay. And if that's your wife, make it $75. Okay. I'm a little cheap. I don't have a lot of money. I'm on Social Security. I'm disabled, but I'm going to give you that. All right. You got a deal here, man? You just hang out. I'm going to try to give you tomorrow when these comments become permanent, I'm going to give you my email, and I promise you that I will give you and your wife $75, and you'll have dinner on me, man. What was the bet? I'm such a retarded. Oh, if they lose, I'm gonna buy a dinner. If they win, I'm not. All right, that's a deal, brother. All right, that's a deal, man. You know, man, thanks for being here. I love you all, man. Keep your eyes, guys, open. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the politician. We are the United States. Okay, what is that? Deal. Yeah, I'm going to reach out to you later. I'm going to give you my email if I could find you. I think my email is on the thing, I think, on my channel. And you can reach out to me. And I will. I promise you that. And I keep my promises. You know, my message for the day is I want the average Americans, instead of being busy attacking each other, we are under occupation by the Zionist entity. The virus is the virus. They control. We control what we see, what we hear, what we eat. I mean, everything. It's true. There's no way to deny it anymore. No way. It's true. You saw the guy from the last segment. He said they were threatened. If anybody voted for that bill, they will come after them. It reminds you of the 1930s Murder Incorporated, when the mafia used to hire Jewish gangsters because they were assassination. They used to assassinate people. It was called Murder Incorporated. They used to give them money to kill other Italians. Anyway, I love you all, man. I love you. God bless you. God bless America. God bless us. Peace for the Palestinian. Long live Palestine, from the river to the sea, in peace with the Jews and everybody living together like they did before these criminals came from Eastern Europe and showed us that the hate they came in with these. They're the first one who introduced terrorism to the region. We don't know what terrorism was until they blew up the King David Hotel. Look it up. I do not lie. Don't make up things. And we have no hate for anybody. We just telling the truth. God bless you all until we meet next time. Let me put this intro outro. I kind of like it. Where is it? You know, I'm the kind of guy who doesn't have any. You know, I just had surgery in one eye, so I'm going to have surgery in another eye soon because I was going blind, believe it or not, my brother. I see you. I love you all. Good night.